we are joined by the great Ron Jaworski. You can see him on the NBC Sports Philly pre- and post-game show. Not this weekend, though. Jaws, how you doing, man?
I am doing terrific. Happy Halloween to you guys. I hope you have a great night walking around getting some candy.
Yes, you as well. Do you know Jack, our host and producer here, decided instead of giving out the normal candy, he got organic gummy bears to hand out. That is a real thing. He's gotten a lot of heat for that. What do you think? He said he wants the kids to be healthier. What do you think about that effort?
No, that won't be popular. That kids want candy. They want Hershey's chocolate bars. They want that kind of stuff. In fact, I'll be with my grandsons. I'll ask them what they like because they're going out as being dressed up. Those Happy Gilmore, so maybe they'll get some chocolate.
There you go.
Yeah.
They definitely aren't looking for organic gummies.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. We suggested the kids on the street egg his house instead of going out to get candy. So.
That may happen now.
Yes.
You get gummies. They're coming back with eggs.
For sure. We're in the bye week. Looking back to your playing days, a week off. What does that do for you mentally and physically during an NFL season?
Well, it's like the best thing that happened for you in the middle of the season. There's no question. Your body's beat up. You're going through training camp since July, and you don't have to worry about getting up in the morning, getting any treatment. You're healthy. And I know as a quarterback, your arm just works every single day. You're throwing. You get a couple of days off, and then all of a sudden some life comes back in your arm and saying, "Oh my goodness, I needed that." It just freshens everyone up, and also state of mind. I always felt you came back. I felt pressure mentally as well because you don't have a coach grilling you every single day. You kind of get some time away from the game, and you have fun. You have fun and relax a little bit. Get around to golfing if you can.
I'm surprised Coach Vermeil gave you guys a week off, man.
As tough as he was, he knew when it was time to rest. he knew when he overcoached us and beat us up pretty damn good.
Yeah, the last year, it actually, we looked last season at the week 5 bye week, and we said, too early. It actually happened at a perfect time, I think, last year for the Eagles. I think this year for the Eagles, too. They're able to get things rolling and found some things that are working on offense, and an extra week to sort of figure out what was working and perfect that for the second half of the season, especially given the couple of games they have right after the bye. Seems like it came at a good time this year for them, too.
I would totally agree with that, Ike and Spike. Knowing you got to play the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions, not only from the player's standpoint, but the coach's standpoint. The preparation is so important. Now, the players will have off. The coaches will not. They'll be breaking down the tape. First of all, they'll do their self-scouting first, make sure they cover that. So you got to really do a deep dive on what you're doing yourself. Other teams are doing that on you as well. And then you can look at your opponents. And we got 2 tremendous opponents coming up, and it'll kind of be the telltale sign of our season with Green Bay and Detroit back-to-back.
Yeah, the offensive performance we saw out of the Eagles game against the Giants was like awesome. How much of what you saw in that game? The Giants are the best team in the world. They have a good defensive front. How much of what you saw in that game was I guess true evolution and something that we can look forward to the rest of the season?
Well, the first thing I thought of was, how the hell did we lose these guys 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
That was my first reaction. I said, they've probably got about 5 or 6 really good players, the Giants do, but that's all they got. I mean, they got a bunch of guys named Joe. They really don't have any depth in their roster, and they've been that way for years. But I was like, how the hell did they beat us? So that was the biggest thing that I got out of whipping their butt like we did last week. But I think it takes time to find your water level. You find out what the players are, and more importantly, what they're not. On the defensive side, people don't assimilate into a system very quickly. It takes time. And Vic Fangio's system is very complex and sophisticated. So when you look at the system, you just don't say, here's what you do. You got to actually play in the system, be in the system, communicate the system. That's what takes the time. So I think the defense will be much better after the bye week.
Yeah, we've been discussing like how to improve the team, right? We're speculating with trades, things of that nature. The Eagles made a sort of a small move to bring in Michael Carter II from the Jets, a slot corner. You look at the roster, Jaws, moving forward. You got the trade deadline coming up in a week. How comfortable are you with where they are roster-wise, personnel-wise, and would you foresee anything sort of happening prior to the trade deadline? Anything else happening?
I think they addressed what I thought was need. I think most people thought was the need was corner number 2. Now you get a guy like Mike Carter, who's was a high draft choice and was paid a lot of money up in New York and didn't play out for them, but he does have some talent. So I think they would think he was the best guy on the market available to the Eagles, and that would probably shore up that corner number 2 spot. And although I thought Kaylee Ringo played well last week, and so I don't want to demean anyone because he did play well in that game, but it's obviously been an issue throughout the regular season so far. But now I think we've shored that up.
It's been a little bit of a head scratcher, right, when they brought him over, because when he signed his extension with the Jets, he became the highest paid slot corner. He's one of the best in the game. We all know that's the position Coop plays. Do you think Coop moves out of that position? We've talked about this, him moving to the outside. What's your thoughts on that idea? Do you leave him where he's at? How do you think this affects how they use Cooper DeJean moving forward?
Well, Cooper DeJean has been outstanding. That's a given. I know he's the kind of guy you can use as a swingman. You could put him outside. You could put him on the slot. He can be physical. He can play off. I mean, he's got all the tools to be, a great corner nickelback in this league for a long, long time. But I think, Vic Fangio will figure it out. Vic's been, a coach for over 40 years, and he has a plan. The plan will be put in place. I'm not sure what it'll be, but we'll see it against Green Bay, and of course we'll see it against Detroit because those two teams have great receiving cores.
The performance of the offensive line was definitely, I would think the best one of the year. And it was interesting having Brett Toth there at center. You have to be encouraged by them able to do that and the running game actually getting to a place that we're used to seeing it.
Oh, Spike, I love you bringing that up. I've been asking for this for weeks right now. Get some heavy formation. That's 6 offensive linemen on the field. Fred Johnson, I think, played 10 snaps with the heavy formation. The quarterback under center. I'll say it 3 times. I think that's, you can't be a predominant shotgun team, pistol team, and have a power running game. The first thing on those last couple weeks, they've gone to the heavy formation, 6 offensive linemen on the field, and you can still throw play action on it. In fact, the big touchdown pass to AJ was, to Smitty, the 79-yard a couple weeks ago was from that formation, a heavy formation, quarterback under center. You get people to bite on the run because they think it's going to be a run. So I love the fact that we're running the ball out of the quarterback under center. We're having 6 offensive linemen on the field, and you impose your will when you bring 6 offensive linemen on the field. I love the way this offense is starting to grow and expand its wings.
Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts deserves credit for doing something he might not have been super comfortable with in the past, and I think Kevin Patullo deserves some credit for getting him there in a place. And we even saw a successful screen pass, which I know it sounds basic, but we haven't seen a ton of those historically. So I think you see the growth of both of those guys throughout the season, able to do things that maybe they weren't able to do previously.
It's thinking these bubble screens. I hate them. I mean, I think quarterbacks call them to get their percentage of completions up high. I mean, every team is running. Every other play is a bubble screen, and in most part they're not very effective. Teams have figured out how to stop them. But man, it's like, but I think the normal screen game is what really gets going. And that's what you have to get going. When you play against good pass rush teams, the screen game is the kryptonite. That's what you got to do.
Absolutely. 2 big games after the bye, the Packers and the Lions. If you were to, I guess, make tiers in the NFC, I guess it would be the Eagles, the Lions, the Packers, and the Rams in that first tier. Do you think of it the same way?
I think the Bucs are in that group as well. So
yeah,
you probably put them in that group. But no, we're going to find out. I think we've been uneven, although the record is respectable at 6-2, very respectable. I think we've been uneven and we have been consistent. We'll find out really how good we are in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right, Charles. Well, a happy Halloween to you. I hope you get plenty of organic candy in your Halloween bag.
I will egg the house.
All right, there you go. There it is. All right, Charles. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, brother.
I love you guys. Thanks, man. Happy Halloween.
All right, you as well.